chance for me as a writer to see where the story's going, and also to get feedback from you as the first audience about what you are interested in or where you think the story should go further. So we'll talk. I'd love it if you were able to stay for about 10 or 15 minutes after the show to chat with me a little bit about some of your thoughts and feelings about it. So the show's going to run about an hour, and then we'll have a little talk, and then we'll go on our way for our Saturday night. So again, I appreciate you coming, and I want to give a shout out and thank you to my wonderful actors who made tonight possible. I couldn't have done this without them. We've started and finished this process together in about 2 weeks with only 1 week really of rehearsal time. So they have been extremely dedicated and helpful in this process. So thank you all again, and enjoy the show.
Once upon a time, beloved, there was a land called Serendip, a beautiful island where the sun shone nearly every day. In that land there lived 3 handsome princes. Admir, the top of admiration, so handsome that even the goats would stop to stare. Saud, the fortunate, so strong that even the stone walls trembled when he passed by. And Zaki, the clever, so cunning that he never had to eat his vegetables. Serendip was ruled by their mother, who loved them very much, but who had made a terrible promise before her children were even born. All their lives she kept this terrible promise as a secret from them. Each day she watched them grow and was glad of their good looks, their strength, and their cleverness, because she knew that one sunny day she would have to do a terrible thing to them. At last, that day came. The promise had to be fulfilled, and she did it. She banished her sons. It was terrible. And that terrible thing led to another terrible thing, and that terrible thing led to another and another. But as you will see, in the great equation of life, many terrible things can somehow add up to a most wondrous thing.
Zach! Sound! Admir! Zach!
Here! I'm here!
Come over here, head to the shore. And new shoes. Ruined.
Yes, Admir. You're very welcome. Happy to save your life. It was nothing.
I was doing fine.
I wasn't. Thanks, Sod.
You're welcome, Zach. At least one of you has a proper sense of gratitude. Where in Phoenicius' garden are we anyway?
The land beyond the dragons. I can't believe it. I never thought I'd make it here.
Well, you almost didn't. I suppose we can thank Mother for this opportunity to see the world. Thank you, Mother. You hear me? We didn't quite die after all. Sorry to disappoint.
Enough, Admir.
She didn't know this was going to happen.
What do you think she expected? She calls us into the court, banishes us for no reason, sends us across the Dragon Sea with nothing but the shirts on our backs, no crew on the ship.
Well, at least she let you wear your new shoes.
And you, with your story. I know how to sail a ship.
I do know. I just never had a chance to try it before.
You made a valiant first effort.
I didn't see you doing any better.
I never said I could.
Well, you could have at least tried. Very admirable the way you wouldn't lift a finger when the mast came down.
Should I have picked it up?
You should have done something.
And here we are.
Breaking my back.
Just the same.
Enough. You're giving me a headache. Did you get a good look at them? Well, what did it look like?
I saw one. It came right at me. It was gray with blue around the eyes.
That was the one that broke the mast.
There were 2 more attacking from the stern, but that one on the mast, it must have been at least 20 feet. What do you think?
What does it matter? So long as we're alive, and we'll never see them again. Talk about something else.
It does matter. We need to know to get back home. What they can do. Why would they...
What? You want to study them? draw some sketches, investigate their food source. The dragons destroyed the ship, and we're stuck here. With
Once
no
we
way
figure it out, it'll be easier.
Listen to me. We've got no way home.
Even if there was, we can't just... We aren't welcome. We were banished. We are banished.
She doesn't want us back.
Look, even if we had a ship.
So we sit here, and we do nothing?
So, what are we going to do about it?
How should I know?
What is it?
It's the book I found in the ship just before. Mother must have... It's from Father's library, Death to Dragons.
What's it about?
The dragons, and how to get rid of them.
Right, so what's it say?
Not sure. Look at the different language. Maybe it'll be clearer when it dries out. But this is it!
What?
This is what we have to do to get rid of the dragons. The valor is action, right? That's what we were told we had to do if we ever wanted to come home again. It was the proclamation of exile.
The what?
The banishment. We have to do something to prove our valor and love of Serendip if we want to go home. That's what it said.
We survived, isn't that enough?
If we could destroy the dragons once and for all, it would change everything for Serendip and smooth sailing to get home.
We're going to Barak.
Sultan?
His father and our grandfather had a treaty for the dragons. He'll welcome us.
And if he doesn't?
He will.
What for? What does he know about the dragons?
At least as much as we do. But who cares about the dragons? We need to get back home. Saad is right.
I am.
Survived the crossing once, took all the valor I've got. What Serendip really needs is us. We were born to lead our people, whatever Mother thinks. And to get to them, we really need a ship. A really strong ship.
From Baram.
He's bound to have a ship of some kind. We'll make a trade. Fix it up if we need to.
A trade with what? Fix it how? Remember, you don't know anything about ships.
And what's your plan, little brother? Find an answer from a book you can't read? Kill every dragon in the sea?
I'm just saying, we need to be careful of dealing with this Sultan. I've heard things about him.
You've heard things. How have you heard things? We haven't had news from the Eastern Kingdom since before we were born, thanks to those dragons. Stop pretending you know everything. Come on, Sal. Dinner is waiting in Baram's.
Well, I haven't heard about him, but his family. Father's journal said he never really trusted Anvar, Baram's father. He thought he was a bit mad.
All the better. A crazy old king. He'll be no match for us. It's got to be better than sitting on this beach in these rags. What's the worst that can happen? Come on, boys. Dinner's getting cold.
Time, beloved, is a very strange thing. You know, so very many things can happen in that same instant, but we can only see one thing at a time. So let us now watch something else that happened in the very moments that the princess watched the Shirana's beach. In another land, far to the west, a new queen had just been crowned. A queen who had never wanted to be crowned. In that moment, she faced her council of advisors for the very first time.
And finally, on this great coronation day, we will be addressed by our young new queen, Her Royal Highness, Kazan.
Wise advisors, I stand before you today as your new queen, Queen Kazana of the West. Like my beloved sister and mother before me, I have now sworn to protect our people for the rest of my life. It is true what you say. I am young, and I have lived all my life under the shadow of our great oppressor, the Hand. I can only dream of those peaceful times from a generation ago, but I do dream, and I hope that one day peace will be restored to this land. But I will do more than dream. I will fight. For a generation, we believed that the Hand had come here to capture the Queen of the West. 2 months ago, my dear sister Moti sacrificed herself, believing that with her death, the Hand would leave this land once and for all. But still, this terror stalks my land, and I say no more. I, your queen, will go into the mountains tomorrow and will not return until the Hand has been destroyed.
But, my lady, you are needed here above all. Every day our lands are flooded with refugees from the west, fleeing the Sultan Bahram's mad ruination. Surely you must see
And
this.
what protection can we offer them? And who knows, how many do not reach this land in safety because of our enemy, My duty is to the people, Baram's as well as my own. For we were once one strong land, and I pray that one day we may be again. I will do all in my power to protect them.
But there are others who...
No, with more right or more skill.
But not tomorrow. As the last few mother's daughters, we must have time to plan these
Select
things.
my successor. Have some faith. I will return. The hollow mirror will protect me. Now you must excuse me. I have much to attend to before morning.
But Queen...
Your Highness,
Sir!
So you see, beloved, the hand of fate has touched many lands and lives beyond your own. But perhaps you are wondering what became of those who were taken by the hand? No, they did not die. There are more things between life and death than are dreamt of in your head at night. I can show you a story or two of how the hand deals with those who reach out to it. That Princess Moti, shall we see what became of her? In a new land and a new place, Moti is now called Dilarama. But I warn you, beloved, Dilarama's tale is not a happy tale, at least not yet.
Oh, my heart is a cord with many pieces. May it ever be so. Many pieces joined together. May it ever be so. The pieces fall apart. May it never be so.
I would tell my songbird to stop, for she drives out all my prey, but in truth, she is the doe I seek above all.
Sultan Bahram seeks me. You need not look long. The hardy Larama seeks her great stag, whether he calls her or not.
Heart of my heart, to think that my forever began just 2 months past. After years of darkness with only shadows of gray and brown to guide me, now I see fire and light. Where were you before? How dare you deprive me of your love for so long? I order you to tell me.
Believe me, my beloved, had I known the love I missed, I had flown to you much sooner.
On the wings of clouds, like an angel of heavenly light.
No angel love, only a woman born to love you.
And before?
Only to suffer gently, not knowing what it was to love or to be loved one by one like you.
Tell me, Dilarama, where did you come from?
From the heavens, just as you found me.
Like a goddess wandering through this wood, your song pulling me to you like a spell, and I unable to resist. But my Dilarama, you must not think me so base that some faults in your birth would change my heart toward you. Were you a daughter of a kitchen scrubber, I could love you no less. You are a queen to me.
Then I am a queen, and let that be enough. You must not ask me again.
Must not. Why not? You doubt the fire of my affection.
No doubt, my love, but I know that fires too soon grow cold.
How may I prove that my love is as true as this steel? I will give you some part of me. I will cut out my heart. It is yours already. Take my eyes, for they see only you. My hands, that they may feel nothing else.
Enough, love. Hush! The truest love is not proved in violent delights. I need no proof of love beyond your gracious self. You have grown weary, hunting all day in this warm sun. Let's return and take our ease.
Still, she does not believe me. You must have some part of me. I need no rest. I need proof. So I must prove myself to you first.
I have no proof to give beyond these arms open to you. But if for your heart's sake you would do some impossible feat, finish your hunt. Find me a deer, and with your bow catch it upon the ear, as my song first caught you in these woods.
An arrow through the ear of some poor deer? Too simple for a love so true.
But pure, and all I ask of you. No! No!
Here have I proven that the most impossible feat of love is no bar to my unmatched skill. upon my heart, and see the heart that I have slain for your love's sake.
Poor doe, struck down for brutal love, a crafty trick to take this dearest life.
No trick but skill.
I did not ask for a kill.
You reject this offering of love?
For skill to kill rich beauty of nature's kindest making.
Poor thanks for accomplishing your will.
I feel my own heart pierced and bleeding.
Bleed on then. Never come more within my sight.
Brom, your anger overcomes you again. Think cool and pleasant thoughts. Oh,
Then stay here, heartbroken, and rot with this dead heart.
speak not so rashly. It is I, your love, your Diliorama.
Who is this that speaks to me? Some wicked demon come to torment me? You rob me of my heart and refuse my only wish. Threaten my life and bid me hunt a deer, but claim you want no kill?
Hear me, love, you're unwell.
Come before my eyes again, and that will be the last thing you see.
Oh, beloved, you see, I warned you. Diliorama's was not a happy story. Princess Moti, she was lost from her sister and her kingdom. And now as Diliorama, she's abandoned by the man that she loves. She who was, only moments ago, so dear to his heart, is now left to fawn over him. You must forgive me my little jokes. It is quite sad, really. As for Bahram, well, Prince Zaki heard right when he heard about the illness that ran in Bahram's family. Since their shipwreck, their luck is not improved. Perhaps at least the brains will serve them here.
They will say nothing. The charges have been read, and yet they do not answer. 3 brothers they have claimed to be, or perhaps something not so humble as the rags on their back make them seem. You know the ways of this court, but will not speak without my leave. Just so. Very well, tell me your tale, but beware. No falsehood will escape my keen perception.
Speak now. It is by grievous ill fortune that we, 3 brothers of noble birth, are brought before you in this base condition. We hope you will not find offense in our most sorrowful appearance.
Why should I find offense in the rags of beggars and thieves? You offend only in your slow tongue. You will answer to the charge of grand larceny, Darmadarius.
Innocent sovereign, we are no camel thieves.
And why should I put credit in the words of a foreigner and a ragamuffin? The evidence is against you in every way.
What evidence? We never saw the beast.
Never saw her, yet able to provide a very keen description of the animal to her owner?
The driver, great one, not the owner. And not at all worth stealing, from what we know of it.
Be that as it may, owner and ownership are jealously guarded in my land. This deceit will cost you an arm or a leg, but not your life if you can tell me where the camel is now.
Great king, as we're strangers here, but we swear we are as honorable as any man or woman that
What do I care for a woman's honor? I care for none but my own, and to my honor you will answer. Now again I ask you, miscreants, what do you know of the animal?
Great Sultan, by a very ill turn of fate, my brothers and I found ourselves washed upon your shores only yesterday. We were, in fact, traveling here to throw ourselves upon your mercy.
Upon my mercy? Why would you think that I would concern myself with the bad luck of a few sailors?
Sailors?
Please, your grace, as we traveled towards your palace, we distracted our tired feet with a childhood game called Sharp Eyes. As we walked, our sharp eyes noticed the slow tracks of a lonely camel on the road. We knew it must have wandered off. Next, Sod noticed the grass along the left side of the path grew high and wild, but on the right side, the grass had been ripped from the ground.
You see, the stupid creature was blind in its left eye. And more than that, there were slobbery chunks of the stuff on the ground.
Proving the poor beast had fewer teeth than eyes.
I myself would have noticed as much had I walked with you. The question is whether you tell the truth or no, but I find I am amused. Continue.
As you wish, Great One. It would seem that the camel had no better luck than we poor shipwrecks. For not a mile further on, we saw a crushed scorpion. And from there on, the tracks showed her dragging her back right foot.
A sorry creature indeed, but tell me more. You reported the animal carried a burden of butter and honey. How could you have known so much without seeing the bags themselves?
in the same way as the rest. Evidence, hard proof, unlike your charges against us, which are merely circumstantial. As the camel began to limp, the load must have slipped and begun to drip.
There were trails of ants and around each drop of honey and flies all over the melted butter. Any picnicker could deduce as much. Great Sultan, upon our honor, which we prize as highly as you do yours, we have seen no camels, blind or whole, since we landed here. When we were questioned by the dunce of a camel driver who lost the creature in the first place, we told him as much, hoping it would be upheld, and so our good deed has only added to our ill fortune.
Very poor fortune for castaways to be taken for thieves in the same day. Indeed, you are guilty of nothing more than being too perceptive in a dim world. The camel has been found in a stew pot outside the city. The driver stole the sorry beast to feed his family. You were just the first strangers he met coming down the road. Well, he and all who fill their bellies on what not is not their own will pay with their own lives. Do not make yourselves uneasy on that point.
Sultan, that's not necessary for our...
Something troubles you. But now, really, where are my manners? No need for those uncomfortable bonds anymore. I assure you, you are most welcome in my house as long as you wish to stay. But then, I really ought to know who you are. You will tell me, won't you? No secrets here, I hope? Of course. You would never fear I will be ashamed of your lowly station. I like you very much. And nothing at all will change that now. Please, go on.
Baram, son of Anbar, Sultan of the East, we, the three debased creatures stand before you, are in fact the three princes of Serendip. I am Admir, Lord of Frangipani. This is Sao,
Duke of Kazoo, and Zaki, Duke of O.
Three princes of Serendip. Two wonderful. For me, I have three sons of my father's great ally from across the Serpent Sea.
We are his only sons, born to him in the years after the dragons first came.
The last traveler that made journey from your land to Serendip brought with him the news of your birth. So, though we have been unknown to you, your name and greatness has been well known to us.
Most fantastical. And the dragons? Surely they are not destroyed. How have you come here?
By the skin of our teeth and the strength of our arms. Our ship did not survive the crossing. The dragons are very much alive.
Just so. And did you make the crossing only to prove this point? A bit bored on your little island, were you? But then never mind. Who can know the motives in a young man's heart? Now then, as I said, low-born or high, you are most welcome here. And none are more welcome than the sons of an old friend. Now you must join me at dinner, for you look ready to fall over. Only let me know what I can do to make you most welcome.
You are graciousness itself.
A ship, Great Sultan. We'll want a ship to get back home, after a little rest.
Already homesick? You've only just arrived. Well, sorry. There's enough time to think about ships. For now, a place of honor at my table and some fresh clothes.
We would be more grateful than we can say.
Perhaps you will find a way to repay me one day. Rather, as I think of this, perhaps, just perhaps, we could arrange a kind of agreement. Something I need for what you will need.
A ship.
Not a ship. The ship. There is only one ship I would trust across the Serpent's Dragon Sea. The bravest ship in my little navy. If any ship could, it will get you back safely to Serendip.
Great one. It is a most generous offer.
And what would we need to do to earn such a fine reward?
Oh, well. There is time enough to discuss that now, really. It is well past time for supper. Let's retire.
So at last, the princess struck a deal with the Sultan of the East. That night he told him of a magical mirror, the fabled hollow mirror. How he wanted it, longed for it. He betrayed him full ownership of his mightiest ship if he could only fetch that mirror. He did not say what he wanted it for, only that it had a certain power to keep him spirit. You see, beloved, it was that power of clarity that belonged to the shipping from
Come on. Let's rest here. We've been going for hours. It's getting late. We should find a place to camp near here.
So, what does the mirror do anyway?
Finds us a ship.
He thinks it will cure him.
What, just by looking at it?
I guess. He seems to think so. It's powerful.
So do you think it'll work?
Maybe. Can't hurt. Might help.
Strange that Bahram's father would have lent such a valuable object to the West.
To save the life of their queen. It's her only protection from this hand thing.
Of course, it was the right thing to do.
And if his reports are right and the hand is still around, it's not likely that Queen Modi will just give it to us if we come knocking.
I think we should keep moving.
Ah! Who are you?
Your servants.
We surrender. I didn't ask you to.
But you wield a knife.
Hunting. It isn't safe here.
Hunting what? I can feel it.
Yes. It's close now. Who are you?
We're three brothers on an errand from the Sultan of the East.
From Bahram?
The Sultan.
Yes, I know. How is he?
The Sultan?
Yes. Who are you?
Khazana.
The hunter?
The queen.
The Queen of...
Of the West. The Queen?
Of the West.
Bahram's not well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You really should move on. The hand will be here any moment.
So you're here to hunt the hand?
Listen to me. You must go.
But, Your Majesty, we've come to your land with a specific request for...
No. From Bahram? Does he want the mirror back at last? I knew he would sooner or later. He's always been a selfish creature. Go! Now!
We've come all the way from the Sultan to...
No! It cannot be returned. The hollow mirror is needed here. Last chance!
If we could remove your need of it,
I'd marry you tomorrow.
I'll take that bet.
Go! Please! You will die!
What?
St. Athanasius!
Get back! Run!
Keep away from them! You aren't wanted here! Don't you understand? I'll fight you till I die!
Zach!
So off they flew, not knowing where they were going or if they were alive or dead. All they knew was that they were much more comfortable than they expected. Up there in the cold light, they found a rest, sweeter than they had known in the shadows of the earth. If, beloved, you were to ask Saud, Khazana, or any who had taken the hand when it was offered, they would not be able to tell you how long a time they were there with the hand, for there, time is not. On the earth, when time is measured, the chaos that ruled Bahram's mind was ravaging his body and his kingdom. The Lorama was one of the few who stayed in the land, believing he would soon regain his senses. Her faith was in vain. She was arrested and condemned to die. But after a strange report reached the Sultan's ears, she found herself before her love, perhaps for the very first time.
You expect me to believe that the child is mine?
It could be no others.
Then give me a tale to save your life.
Without the child, I wish I would die. What is my life to me without you?
Why have you done this to me? Release me from your curse, goddess. Forgive me for whatever any offense.
Bahram, my love, you must believe I am real. I am here. Oh, Bahram, no, no, you will recover. We'll be a family.
mirror. He thought that it might...
Stop, my sister!
Wonderful! Use the mirror!
You had it. Quickly. Quickly. Brom, look. My love, look and live. Blind.
I lost my freedom. Goodbye, my beloved.
No. No. Leave him. Phoenicius. Please.
Where are you taking him?
Not like this.
My dear, hush. I'm here.
What do you want?
Here.
What are we supposed to do?
Hush, Sal. Just let him go.
This isn't right. This mirror is worthless. What was the point? There was nothing we could do to stop him.
He wanted to go.
I want to go. Take me. Come back and take me.
No, my darling. Mostly.
Did you say child? You must live. Calm yourself. I will take care of you. All will be well.
The courtroom is here, Sal.
What's happened?
All the guards have disappeared.
Admir? Zaki!
Sal?
You're alive.
I'm gonna kill him. Sal, my brother.
You
You here?
were dead.
First, Kazana is here also, and her sister. And Baram,
The hand. Just now. He's gone.
What can we do? Where did it take him?
I don't know.
Where did you go?
Here. We just came here. The hand brought us here and took Baram away.
And before here?
Nowhere. And then in the mountains with you.
Sod, you were gone for weeks.
But there was nothing.
Kazana, did anyone taken by the hand ever come back?
No, they were dead.
That's not true. I didn't die. Phoenicius doesn't kill anyone. The hand, the curse, the wizard, Phoenicius, whatever you call it. He's not a murderer.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
This is Kazana's sister.
Moti.
Dilirama. My name is Dilirama. He helped me find my new name.
Baram?
Phoenicius. Dilirama means restore.
In what language?
Mine. After I left you, Anna, I was taken up and I met Phoenicius. He controls the hand and the dragons and everything else. I stayed with him for a time before he sent me here to wait for the princes. I met Baram, and while I was waiting, I was distracted. I'm sorry, you must forgive me. I'm not well. I should rest before our journey.
Yes. We'll begin our journey home as soon as possible.
And so must we, with or without Baram's ship.
Without would be better. I don't think Baram would like to see you on his ship.
Moti. Dilirama. What do you mean about Baram seeing them?
Baram is a dragon now. Good night.
It had been a very eventful evening, and it would be a much longer night. With the exception of the exhausted Dilirama, no one seemed able to get much sleep that night.
What are you doing out here? Did you get any sleep? Okay, I know that look. What did you figure out? What is it?
I left this here when we went to go look for the mirror. Be careful with this.
Sorry, I lost my temper. What language is it?
Look. It's a simple trick. Mirror writing.
So,
Sign language.
the souls of the wretched of the earth, and having traded weakness for strength and humiliation for power, they will be restored. But the dragons?
You know who wrote this?
Phoenicius. But why? If you wanted to give people like Baram a second chance, fine, but why did he have to put the dragons around Serendip?
That part I can't read. The pages are too damaged, but there are lots of references to our grandfather. Phoenicius was his advisor. They must have had a falling out.
A 30-year curse? I call that more than a falling out. Does it explain how to break it?
Well, it is called Death to Dragons, but I don't know, Sod. We might not ever be going home. At least not for a very long, long time. Maybe not ever.
Whatever it takes. Even if we have to build a ship. Even if it takes our whole lives, we'll get there.
It says the curse will last at least 4 generations, and to break it, only Anbar's house can break it.
Baram. Or Baram's child.
Or grandchild, the 4th generation. I guess I'll go see if there's anything about shipbuilding in the library. Sod, I'm glad you're not dead. You didn't tell him.
About the baby? Let's not mind to tell.
Thank you. From my sister.
How is she?
I don't know. I hardly know her now. She's so different from the brave queen who left a few months ago.
That must have been awful.
It was. I mean, nobody wants to see their sister walk up to death. She was so sure it was the right thing.
That's very admirable, but I meant being left to take over as queen after her. That must have been awful.
No one's ever asked me about that.
I'm a second in line too. I'd never want to take over from Admir. Everyone's in love with him.
Not me. Being queen was the last thing I wanted.
I think it suits you, Your Highness.
You should see me try to hold a court. Or dance. Oh, please. What will you do now?
Well, looks like without a grandson warrior around to take on a sea of dragons, we're just going to try and build a really strong boat. And that's Admir's idea, but Zaki and I agree it's not home here. We can't stay.
No, it's not much like home.
What about you? Take your sister home? Give her back the throne?
She doesn't want to go home. Says that I'm queen of the West now. She's going to stay here near where Baram was and raise his child.
She still loves him after everything?
She says it wasn't him. It was the illness. She watched him slip away.
So you go back home to the mountain? Back to being Her Highness, Hunter of the Hand?
No more fighting the hand with me. As it turns out, the hand only takes those who reach out for it. Those who are ready to say goodbye. So the only way to stop the hand is to stop people from wanting it.
And the mirror? I broke it, you know. Sorry about that.
Just a silly trick. Anbar gave it to my mother, who thought it was a good luck charm. All it did was confuse the hand.
So you were going searching for the hand, but you weren't reaching out to it.
Not until you did.
I didn't ask you to jump with me.
You looked like you needed some help.
It's a long walk back to the west.
Yes.
I could walk with you if you wanted.
Maybe let's start with walking into breakfast.
It's time for the great winding up scene. So what do you think, beloved? How will it end? I won't make you wait. That day, the whole party of brothers and sisters traveled to the almost forgotten seaport of the East. It had once been the happy link between Serendip and the Eastern and Western kingdoms. But that was many years ago. And all who could had tried to forget those days and the dragons that had ended them.
That's the best ship in Baram's navy.
His only ship. They had never heard the word navy.
We tried. We survived once.
We're lucky.
It would be suicide.
I don't want to become a dragon or get eaten by one.
Well, I don't. I want to go home. What? What are we supposed to do?
Nothing. There's nothing we can do.
We could try to build a ship. We could.
No ship that you build in 100 years would make it across this sea. Don't you understand, Princess? He wouldn't let you go home. It's the whole reason Phoenicius brought you here in the first place.
He brought us here?
It's the final part of the curse. Your grandfather's line can't continue to rule Serendip. The only way to end the curse is for you to give up your inheritance.
Never be king.
No,
None of us?
no.
But it's all I know.
You can learn something else. Shipbuilding.
And what about our people?
They need a ruler.
Do they? If they do, they will find someone.
We're just supposed to give up. Find some new life. Forget who we are.
Become something new.
What about you? You thought you could end the curse on your land by sacrificing yourself, and it didn't work.
I
But it didn't end the curse. Why should we trust you?
Because I'm telling the truth.
Ready to be something new?
Whoa, Kazana!
No! Baram! Baram, it's me! Mother Richard! I love you.
What are you doing?
You will not hurt me! No!
Get away! What is it?
Hundreds of them.
Sweet Phaeophaenicius.
They're free.
He's gone.
You've done it, girl. You've done it. Congratulations. So good to see you. How are you?
You're Aphid.
Yes, Phoenicia's Grand Vizier of Serendip, and very pleased to meet you at last, my boys. So well done. Good to see you. Hello. Zaki, so well grown. Look at you. Lovely. Soud. Powerful Soud. And Kazana. Lovely, lovely. So pleased to see you. I'll give you a hug. And you, my dear, my poor girl. How proud I am of you. I know how hard that was. You had a very hard time, and been so strong. Your child will have all your strength and more. All Baram's strength and passion, too, all of his goodness. And the love from both of you.
I'm sorry. I know I didn't do exactly what you asked
Oh,
me to.
beloved, dear, I had hoped to spare you the pain, but are you happy? Will you be happy? Then all is well, and we will proceed. How wonderful to have an over I've waited this day, and here we are. Don't you find days like this a little sad after all? Ah, well, here we are. It's over.
Great Phoenicius, what? What is over?
The curse, what you have called it, it's done at last. The hand, the dragons, it's all part of the same spell. And what is a curse to you brought blessings to many others. You see, my beloved, in the time before you were born, all things had become such a mess. And the only way to make things balanced again was many, many terrible things. Death to dragons, you see, I wrote it all here in the book. About how long it would take to let everything work itself out, like a long rain after a drought or a fire in an old forest. You see, beloved, no one likes those times, but without them. Anyway, but here you are, the heirs of the three kingdoms, together again. What do you say? Are you up to it?
Am I going to be king of Serendip after all?
That is a question of the future, and I never really answer those. Far too relative, especially at this moment. But I do have two things left to do. Dilarama, if you could please step forward. Do you all agree that Dilarama, the restorer, slayer of dragons, is worthy to be made high queen of the lands?
Yes, absolutely so.
Then it is done.
Just like that.
Yes, yes. And secondly, do you all agree that I have done quite enough for good or ill in the management of these lands in my life?
Yes.
I'll take it. Yes, and so I say goodbye to each of you. Goodbye. Farewell. Farewell. Good to see you. Farewell. Okay. Oh, yes, and good fortune. Good fortune be with you, but also wisdom, especially wisdom. Fortune and wisdom together. What is that? Serendipity? Yes.
mean, I've read the previous draft, but I like that you condensed it and it feels much more streamlined now. The ending though seemed a little rushed, where I feel like I don't quite understand what Phoenicia's purpose was, what he was doing, or she, or I don't understand why the dragons, why manipulating all these people, why putting them through all this grief and pain. I mean, I can see that there could be purpose in it, but I didn't see what the purpose was necessarily. Otherwise, I thought it was fine.
Anybody have any responses or thoughts?
I like the use of the cello music, and I liked the theme that you built into the sister's character, that repeated theme. And I think that we need to play with how those themes repeat with the other characters too. Sorry. I think also I hear what Padre is saying about like it being condensed, but I feel a little bit like it feels like you condensed it this way instead of this way. So it felt like the content became less. I had a hard time following all the little pieces, where I felt like I really just wanted to focus on like one character or one group of characters' story. You know what I mean? Like I was really interested in the brothers, and I was like, maybe that could be just the story, or just the king who gets taken by the hand, just his story, or just the story of the sisters who lose each other and are rejoined. Like I had a hard time seeing the connection. Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily have to lose those stories, because I actually like all the stories. But we connect somehow, having a little bit of connective tissue of how everything relates to each other could ease that process.
I guess I wanted more.
That's a good thing.
Ironically, to me it felt bare bones. Like I wanted more meat. It felt skeletal, and I wanted like the tissue around it to like just let me sink into something a little bit.
So more as in more information about the characters?
Yeah.
About what's happening in the world?
More character stuff. I felt like I got an idea about the world through the narrator. That's just my impression. It just felt bare bones.
Yeah, and it is, and Mahanre, for one, has read a previous version of this script that ended up being about 70 pages, and I did condense it down to about 45 pages, cutting out a lot of characters and several scenes that have fallen by the wayside, and partially for production reasons of a number of actors and things, but also for me to try and figure out what parts of the story were the most important. So that was part of my process. So I guess I'd like to hear from more of you about maybe what elements of the story are the most intriguing, or where you think it should be built up.
I really like Death to Dragons. I think that it's mentioned at the very end scene that
That's like a comment where I feel like A and Canisius is just like this little bluster at the end, and you're like, well, we kind of saw the man behind print, but we don't know who that man is, you know, and we don't get his motivation or her motivation, or I mean, and on this comment about the character, because I think you have the right amount of characters, and I think the structure of the play is perfect. I mean, it's great. But I like his comment about just expanding each of the characters to create some more moments with them. Like the romance was a little brushed by. I kind of liked what the seeds that were there, and so just playing, fleshing out everybody. Her character was really interesting, and the fact that she kills her husband at the end is interesting, because she was almost like in this kind of abusive relationship, and the fact that she separated herself from it and said, no, I'm not going to let you eat me, you know, was good. So playing with some of those themes and those characters, because you've got some really interesting seeds in these characters, and I'd like to see those more. And so, because in your previous drafts, it just was filled with all sorts of sidelines and additional characters, but now you've pared down the characters to the essentials there, and the plot to the essentials there. Now you can just flesh that out a little bit.
Yeah.
Were you trying to stay like with a 1 hour time limit, or was there some reason for that?
So I guess that kind of leads into another question that I build this as family theater, and we have an adult audience here tonight, but last night we had about a dozen kids here between the ages of 2 and 16. So do you feel that as adults that this is adult-friendly piece? Because I got a lot of feedback from the kids last night about their feelings. Yeah.
The strength of the story to me was the quest by the three brothers to get back home. But in the end, they found that they could make home where they were. And that's a strong statement.
That is a strong statement, but for me, I wanted resolution with the mother. The narrator at the beginning said this was the hardest decision she ever had to make.
Yeah.
Nothing ever we
never hear anything else about it.
And it had to be hard for the kids, but that, since the three characters we see at the beginning are the ones that we probably bond with the most because of that. That seemed a little unresolved.
Yeah. You can make the narrator the mother, but have the narrator play the mother, because she kind of takes that role anyway.
So on that note, I wrestled in the last week with the title itself, because I feel like in writing, my focus shifted onto some of the other characters' stories, particularly Dilly Rama's story. And I feel like we restructured, Isaac was really instrumental in restructuring the scenes so that we could kind of equalize the time, the focus a little bit more. But do you have any alternate title suggestions, or do you feel like the Three Princes, I'm hearing that you like the princes and you maybe want more focus on their story particularly, but if you were going to suggest an alternate title, can you think of any that might fit? Kind of an odd question. That's why I ask kids a lot.
Something along the lines of like the journey to Serendip, or return to Serendip, or just something to, because it's like, it's the Three Princes of Serendip just kind of like draws our focus to them, but the structure of the story itself kind of brings up other stories, and so with that, the title should encompass that it's a quest, a journey. Everyone has their own stories within it, but the main part of the story is that everyone's trying to get to the same goal, and that is the queens want to get back to the west. Baran wants to have his ceremony in the world east. The boys want to go back home to Serendip. It's all a big quest. And so something along the lines of that aspect of it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope that is clear, that each of the characters, each group original, so this story, a little bit of information about it. The Three Princes of Serendip is a fairy tale that comes from Persia. Actually, in the original tale, Serendip is one of the ancient, who knows, names of Sri Lanka. So that's actually where this story comes from geographically. And to me, that's not particularly important, but I do think it's interesting. And that story has been adapted over time and time again. And it's sometimes called the peregrination, which means journey, peregrine. So that really kind of hits back to it. But I like the word, but I don't think anybody recognizes it. Peregrination. Let me see. I want to see if I got all my questions I wrote down answered. Okay, yeah, I think I did. Any final thoughts from you? Any last things? Anything that's gonna burn in your head tonight when we leave and just wish you'd have a chance to ask or say?
Well, one thing that was helpful when all the different stories, when you said, someone said, there's other worlds things going on in other parts of the world. So that helped to get, oh yeah, there's other things going on. That helped to show that there's other stories happening and you're supposed to, it just helped you to realize that, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully that these things are weaving together at the same time in different places. Actually, one last question about the shadow puppets and about, I guess, what your reflections are on those. Do they, as an adult audience, do they feel too childish, or do they?
No, they're excellent.
I would have puppets.
I think they used it well to portray what is hard to see. You know, I found it really effective with the camel story. You know, I think if I just heard that without the visual, I might have a hard time tracking what they were talking about. But seeing the actual camel in the background just kind of reinforced it. And then you're fighting over the dragon in the end. I mean, I suppose you could have a dragon here, but it wouldn't read the same as an actual item. I didn't feel like it was cave. I think the shapes of the puppets made it not cave. You know, they weren't cartoons.
I'm 33 years old. I don't think people are very old for that.
I mean, the language wasn't children like at all to me. I mean, your image, the poetic imagery and the love scene of like the winds of clouds was very, I thought it was good writing.
How did the kids respond to the language?
They didn't seem to have any problems with it. That's nice. We had a 2-year-old in the audience last night, and his summary of the plot afterwards was, we gotta get rid of the dinosaurs.
My burning question is, does Baron have to die?
Yes.
I do, because all the other people like touch the hand with Anthony,
Yeah.
they just get carried away somewhere else. But Baron's the only person who, like, in dealing with Anthony, just actually dies. Whereas
He got turned into a dragon, so
but all the other
But
dragons
did
got set free.
Yeah, did this character and the sister get turned into dragons? No. I guess that was one question when Braun got taken away, and then he showed up. I was like, so where is he going?
And these two were doing it out of self-sacrifice for each other. The rest were doing it out of suicidal grief or
understand the power of the hand, like what the hand actually does. I feel like if you were going to add another shadow puppet, it'd be the hand.
Because her character kept making excuses for Baron and saying, "Oh, it's a sickness. It's this." Not ever identifying until the end. It's abuse. And to me, that was kind of a powerful message where she stood up and said, "Okay, I'm not going to let you eat me, and or my child." And to me, that was it's necessary for her to stand up to that dragon
So,
But was Afro his,
every,
was it dragon as well?
I think we don't get if he thought his name was because he appears after the dragon falls.
So to me, I'm like, oh, it is a good dragon. Oh. So where's the hand go?
My question is that, or my thought process, but we're going to sit and so I'm going to remember to walk out loud, but baby, let's have a happy family.
I know, right? But you don't always get there.
Yeah, there's some discussion, well, there's an intense discussion of his previous marriage and sort of the monster that is now, and that Aaron father is also a bit grandfather didn't trust him, and that wasn't his spiritual advisor, and so there's some sort of business going on with the queen and
That could be a really nice setup on here.
I agree.
If you could pull up. To see that happening, I could see it become a hand, or to see the dragon develop something that.
would you like that reveal? There was a scene in the middle, wasn't there, when Susanna and Val what was with them, where they actually talked with her and oh, or that. This is a
Oh.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That we know things as we go along. But I think revealing at the end would be would keep up mystery, keep up tension, and the place that we're trying to figure it out and that mystery.
I don't disagree with it. There's so many other things that I'm putting together that it'd be nice to have like one